Today's video is brought to you by Assiniboia Downs Gaming and Event Center. Be sure to tune into this channel live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern for Monday Night Lights, hosted by Trust the Profits.
Trust the Profits. It's a formula here, and that can mean only one thing. Well, it can mean many things, but today it means we're doing a full field rundown. And in this case, it is the 2023 Kentucky Downs Turf Cup. About halfway through that short Kentucky Downs season. And yeah, we've got a BC win year in for this long 1.5 mile race on turf, the Kentucky Downs Turf Cup. It is a G2, going to be run on September 9th. It has a full field of 16 horses. 4 of them are also eligible, so 12 are planned to be running in this race. We'll be getting to those in a second, but I do also want to point out that as we go through these, I will be showing parts of our tip sheets that you would get access to by supporting the channel. We got 2 levels of support here, the Saturday Special and the All Access. So we would love for you guys to support us through that. Saturday Special, you pay $10 a month and you get 1 Saturday slate tip sheet per month. Per week, I should say, so you get 4 total. And then the All Access, we put out about 4 or 5 per week, 4 minimum. So you get the Saturday plus anything else that we put out if you click the All Access for $40 a month. So anyway, got through that. Let's start going through the races here now, shall we? So Foreign Relations, probably the youngest, or at least the least run horse of all the horses in this pack. Last time out, 6th place at the United Nations, a G1, finishing 3 lengths behind Therapist. Red Knight also in that race at 3rd. 6th place at the Chorleywood Overnight Stakes at Ellis Park, 3 3¾ lengths behind Vivar, and Therapist also in that race. 2 wins before that at Churchill, a G3 Louisville, and at Keeneland as well, an allowance race there, 4 lengths ahead in that one. So Foreign Relations, it's a horse on the list. Is it our top horse? Well, we'll see. So coming up next after that, Red Knight. So gone from a horse that's run 9 races, Red Knight having 38 under his belt. Most recently 2 wins in the last 5 in 2023. So already starting off a pretty solid 2023 for Red Knight. Last out, a 3rd place finish at the United Nations, a G1 behind Therapist. 4th place finish at the Manhattan, 4 lengths behind Up to the Mark. And he did win the Manowar Stakes, a 1 mile 3 1/8, beating Soldier Rising in that one. And 2nd place finish to Verstappen at the Elkhorn, losing by head in that one. So it was a really close race. Winner of this race last year, beating out Gufo by a neck. So this is a horse, and let's point out at the very bottom here. So it's a deep closer, one of the best closers in this race, if not the best. And the Michael Maker, Tyler Gaffalione combo here, very deadly, especially at Kentucky Downs. So Red Knight for high consideration here. We just talked about Verstappen. So Verstappen, 15 races, 4 wins. Last time out, he was in 2nd place to Channel Maker in the Bowling Green, 2 lengths back in that one, maintaining about that distance for most of the race. 3rd place behind me and Mr. C in the JB Schuster run at Horseshoe. And he did win the Elkhorn over Red Knight and Another Mystery, as we mentioned in the previous slide. Will be anywhere from stalking the pace to being 4 or 5 lengths back. And he's won multiple ways. Very dangerous horse going into this race. Santon. So 15 races, 4 wins. 2nd place at the Arlington Million, 2 lengths behind Set Piece in that one. A 4th place finish at the Henshin, 6 lengths behind Zozos. This is a horse that has been transferring back and forth between turf and dirt. Serious out of the money finishes, though. Series of, write that up properly. Going back to October 2022, had just a series of races where finishing out on the money, not looking all that impressive. The last win this horse had was the Arlington Million last year at Churchill Downs. I'm surprised this horse is getting 5-1 if you actually look at the ML odds there, and I know that it's a little bit of an eye chart going across there, the portion that I'm showing from our tip sheet. I'm not sure why this horse is 5-1 given all the other horses that are in the race, and also taking into account that this horse is usually raced by Tyler Gaffalione, who obviously picked Red Knight. So Florent Geroux had to take over for him in this case. It's a bit of a mystery here. The only thing I will say for Santon is he's one of the few horses that projects to be on the pace. So there's that, but I would not consider him a serious contender here. Um, so here is the pace setter right here. Get Smokin', the obvious pace setter. When we get to the final slide, you'll see why. So fourth at the Kentucky Downs Preview Stakes at Ellis, setting the pace but losing to me and Mr. C by 1 length in that one. Second by a neck in the Wise Dan, losing to Stitch. Second at the Arlington Stakes, losing to Set Piece by 1 length there. And appropriately named, this is the lone speed in the race. You look at the racing form, it's a bunch of ones all the way down from the half mile, 3/4 mile, etc. This is a horse that will get out there. Um, but this is a race we're going 12 furlongs, right? Mile and a half. Um, it's asking a lot of a horse to go wire to wire, and that's going to have to be the case with Get Smokin'. But I will say that recent indicators you can see here, fourth, second, he does stick up there in some pretty big races. Me and Mr. C. So just brought up this horse's name a couple times here. So 10 wins in 33 races. So it's a pretty strong win percentage. 3 wins in 6 races in 2023. So a lot of those wins coming recently. Winner of his last 3 races, Kentucky Downs Preview, won by a neck over Cellist in that one. The JB Schuster, over underdressed by a neck or a nose in that one. And then the Soldier's Dance over Lure Him by 1.5 lengths. Tons of success in stakes races. But one thing you'll notice is he doesn't race in a lot of graded stakes races. In fact, I think he's raced in one over the past, 5 years, and it was multiple years ago. So like in the past year or past 2 years, mostly non-graded stakes races. So we're talking about a bump up here for me and Mr. C. But again, all these wins, 10-1 odds. Is it going to be worth it? Katoden, 17 races, 6 wins. Another good percentage there. Going a little bit above 33% win rate there, but is yet to hit the board in 2023. Took almost a year off since the last time he raced at Kentucky Downs. A 4 length win in the Dual Grounds Derby over Grand Sonata. And those 2 races, they look bad. 10th place finish, 8 lengths back in the in Kentucky Downs Preview Turf Cup. 7th place finish just a week ago at the Tapit Stakes in Kentucky Downs. 5.5 lengths back in that one. Was the winner of the Audubon Stakes as well in 2022 over Smokin' Tea and Grand Sonata. So the question is, after 2 races, has he recovered from that long layoff? And also, I'm going to throw this out there, adding on Irad Ortiz as the jockey in this one. Is that going to be enough of a bump up for Katoden? Is Irad going to solve some mysteries here in 2023? Be interesting to see. Never Explain, 5 wins in 18 races. 4th place finish at the Arlington Million, 2 3/4 lengths back of Set Piece in that one. Santon was second. 3rd place finish at Bowling Greens, 2 lengths behind Channel Maker. Verstappen was second in that one. And second at the Monmouth, half a length off of Catnip. Did win at the dinner party, half a length over Hurricane Dream in that one. Joel Rosario, the jockey here, always has good results at Kentucky Downs. I wouldn't say he's the best jockey at Kentucky Downs, but he's definitely in the conversation. Nautilus, 7 wins in 21 races, most of them outside of the U.S. Only stakes race in the U.S. was a 13th place finish at BC Turf last year, losing to Rebels Romance by 30 lengths. Definitely didn't seem like he was ready for that race. Since then, he's run a number of allowance races. He won one at Ellis Park, going 1 mile, but again, we're asking him to go another half mile here. Has yet to look in place in U.S. stakes races, so he's jumping up here to this G2. Nautilus, lower on my list. Another mystery, we're getting up to the 10 horse here. 8 wins in 36 races for another mystery. Illinois bred horse, Arlington Park All-Star before it was shut down. Had his best work under current trainer Chris Block. This is a horse that's gone from trainer to trainer, but he is with the trainer that I think he's had the most success with. 3rd at the Elkhorn, 2 lengths behind Verstappen. 4th at the Muniz Memorial, 4.5 lengths behind Spooky Channel in that one. And then the JB Connolly was second there, just less than a length off of Scarlet Fusion. 3rd last year at the Turf Cup, and losing by a neck to Red Knight and Gufo in that one. So this is the 3rd horse there in that trifecta. So coming back for more, another mystery. Therapist, we're getting to 11 here. 13 wins in 42 races for Therapist. Winner of the United Nations, 1.5 lengths over Catnip and Red Knight in that one. Second by a head, the Chorley Wood behind Vivar. Worst race in a while was at the Louisville. Faded to 8th in that one. 12 furlong race, losing to Foreign Relations by 8 lengths. But before that, I mean, the distance doesn't seem to be an issue here, so I wouldn't say that was the knock on him in the Louisville. Um, the Pan American and Gulfstream, he won by 4.5 lengths over Iman there. Horse has been lights out under Michael Maker, I must say. Last time he ran at KD, 2022, he had a fourth place finish by 3 lengths after being heavily favored. So a lot of data here at play for Therapist. On one hand, doesn't look like he's run his best races at Kentucky Downs. On the other hand, Michael Maker seems to get his best out of the horses, especially at Kentucky Downs, and he's gotten the best out of Therapist. So I'm very curious to see how he handles this one. And finally, the last horse before we get into the also eligible Spooky Channel, 13 wins in 30 races. Last out, disappointing performance at the Kentucky Downs Preview, 9th, 5 lengths behind me and Mr. C. But previous to that, he's been pretty successful, third in by 5 lengths to up to the mark in the Old Forester Turf Classic. First in the Minus Memorial, half a length over Rising Empire. Third in the JB Connolly, 1 length behind Scarlet Fusion in that one, and then first in the Dilberto Memorial, 2 lengths up in that one. It's going to be a deep closer. He's going to be a horse that's going to have to threaten down the stretch. Okay, now we're getting to the also eligibles. Just quick notes on any of those. Dog looked fairly decent lately, but hasn't won a race since April 2022. Has had some good races though. Cellist, so one horse that could potentially push the pace here if he is eligible is Cellist, but similar to Dog, has threatened a number of times but hasn't really sealed the deal since the spring of 2022. I think May of 2022 was his last win. Highest honors, run in some high profile races, but it's yet to be a threat wasn't a threat in the last 3 races. I shouldn't say it's yet to be a threat, but recent results was not threatening. And finally, Red Run, not a threat. This is the 4th Michael Maker horse, and definitely the 4th in entry and ability. Yeah, good note there. Okay, so where are we at here? In summary, one thing I do want to point out here is you look on the right, and this is my the portion of my tip sheet for this race, a small screenshot of it. I know it's a bit of an eye chart, but you can see here on the right, got the last 3 paces and the last pace. You can see we got a lot of horses that sit a couple tiers back, and we've got one horse that definitely is the pace setter, and that's Get Smokin'. Maybe one horse that sits off the pace, Santon, one that could push the pace as well. Maybe push Get Smokin' in that one. And then obviously we got Nautilus down there as well, potentially. So in terms of pace, it's definitely going to be Get Smokin' with maybe a push from Santon. But when I look at this race, what I'm looking for here is the closers and my closing power in that column off to the right, but left of the pace. You see the 4s and 3s there. So my top pick here at the very top and my best closer is Red Knight. 4-1. I think you're getting pretty good value out of that top pick as well. In terms of my value plays, I know this is a horse that's stepping up in class, but me and Mr. C at 10-1, I do like the closing power there. I like that he only sits a couple lengths off of the pace. So when he gets in that charge, he's not going to be super far back, but he also has the power to really push forward. If I'm going to key, and I'm also taking in consideration that some of these horses in the middle might get scratched, and where they're going to be on the pace, I do think you key on Red Knight. I think that's the obvious one here. This horse has had success at Kentucky Downs. He's a closer. He's very fit and suitable for this race. But then you add in me and Mr. C at 10-1. I will throw in also Spooky Channel, who has pretty strong closing power, and Katoden, who's had success here before, coming off a long layoff, 3rd race off the long layoff, 12-1 value, but also closing power. Success. He's won at Kentucky Downs before. Can't get me enough Katoden. So there you go. What do you guys have? You agree with what I've got here? Ooh, we've got some hair dangling down by the hat. Anyway, tell us what you think of the Kentucky Downs Turf Classic. Who's going to win? Tell me if I got it right, and we will see you guys later.